How's it going, everyone? CJ from On The Grow here, and today I just wanted to provide a quick update about our grow space and how everything is working. So first, as you can see, all this crop over here is looking super happy. This is all for our farmers market coming up tomorrow, actually, so we're going to be harvesting all of this tonight. We're really excited about this. This is going to be like the first big sale that we're going to be doing and kind of introducing ourselves into the sales aspect of this business. We spent forever practicing growing, sharing these experiments, and now we're actually going to begin to move towards sales as well as continuing all of our experiments and builds, but we figured it's about time to start finally selling some of these guys. So some other things I want to talk about with this space is that we just entered winter time. So here in Texas, we finally started hitting about 30-degree nights, and what I noticed is that our overhead AC unit has heat in it, but it wasn't putting out enough heat for it to actually heat this entire space. And I noticed it was a little chilly in here, and actually because of that, we had poor germination on our sunflowers over here. Like you can see down here on this side, how we still have all these with the seed holes on it, and that's because these things actually didn't start kind of standing up until about yesterday or the day before for some of the ones on the side. So kind of seeing that we had that issue and trying to salvage this, because this is going to be our main sunflower crop for the actual farmers market. What I did is I ran out and I bought a space heater. We had one similar to this in our garage at the beginning of the year whenever we lived down East Texas, and space heater like this is really great because it allowed us to put a temperature. We wanted this space to stay at 72 degrees, and what I noticed with this one, with our actual wall AC unit, even though we have it set to about 72, what we found is it was actually closer to about 67 in this space. And because of that, we were just having slower growth on everything. So just want to talk about this. So this thing works out absolutely beautifully. So it's set to 72. Anytime it reaches that temperature, it just cuts off, and it doesn't continue to waste energy or continue to heat when it doesn't need to. I've actually got a kilowatt. It's basically something that measures how much energy we use, and I've had that on since about this time yesterday, so that I know I'm spending about $1.80 per day to heat this space, which honestly is not terrible considering how many plants I'm going to be able to get growing in here. So having this in here definitely saved a lot of our crops and allowed us to have, or hopefully going to have, a very successful farmers market. So while this heater did solve our issue with the space being too cold, it created a secondary issue, which you can kind of see over here. We've got a lot of condensation that happened because of this, and actually yesterday the entire floor was wet with condensation, and so we just started having another issue where this entire space was starting to get way too humid, which makes sense because this is, I mean, these walls are insulated, but these metal wheel wells, this is actually on the other side of this is where the wheels sit for this trailer. So there's no insulation right here at all. So it makes sense that we're going to be getting some condensation there. So what I did yesterday is we had a big 70-pint dehumidifier, but it was filling up too fast and it wasn't able to get all of the, here, let me cut this off so I don't kill you with air noise here. But the 70-pint didn't have the capacity to handle the amount of humidity that was in here. So I pulled back out my 30-pint and I set it on top of our sink, and I just ran a straight hose. So this drains straight down into, and you can see it kind of bubbling here. This drains straight into our sink, and now we no longer have to worry about the reservoir actually filling up and turning off the dehumidifier. This just constantly runs, and surprisingly, this little dehumidifier worked a lot better than we had like a $400 70-pint dehumidifier right here, and this little one is just crushing it right now with the ability to keep this space at the right humidity. So something else I wanted to talk about, I don't know why it happened, but I think it's just something to be aware of. With our big 70-pint dehumidifier, it said that we were around the 50% humidity range in here. And whenever I plugged this one in, it said that we were at 70, which made a lot of sense because whenever I walked in here, I was like, man, it feels really humid, but my other humidifier is telling me that, hey, the humidity's good. Whereas when I plugged in this little one, it's like, no, dude, your humidity is actually quite high, and we need to fix that. So it's just something to be aware of. I used to have a lot of devices in here to track humidity, started having some issues with those devices, so now I'm searching for something else to kind of monitor the humidity and temperature of this space. And this whole little practice over the last few days has really kind of given me that nudge to find something to monitor the space, so that I'm not, because you know there's just missed data information there. Like whenever these sunflowers didn't start germinating, I wish I had found out what temperature the space was averaging that was causing the poor germination, because that would have been perfect information to be able to share with people and to know for future reference. But all that being said, I just wanted to give a quick update about this space. So we're pretty stoked. We haven't been using this guy fully yet. The reason is we have this first farmers market coming up, and we didn't want to use a experimental system to grow all of the greens in. The reason being, if something like if there was just something wrong with it, or if the water kicked off or something, we didn't want to gamble and risk our first big farmers market. So this has kind of been put on postpone for the past week and a half while we focus on just hand watering everything. And then actually over here, we've still got the frame of the original NFT. So funny enough, I'm probably gonna move that NFT system back over here, or what I'm debating on doing, we're kind of talking about a fun system that's going to have multiple ways of growing incorporated into it, and it's going to be completely custom. So that's something that we're kind of planning on building right here. So the space is kind of always in fluctuation with what's actually happening in it, because we kind of constantly evolve. Like right now we're thinking about, we want to start introducing more adult plants into this, not just specifically microgreens. We do love microgreens, but we also really enjoy full heads of collards and other lettuces and kales and things like that. So we're trying to see how can we incorporate maybe an NFT system that's going to grow some mature crops, or even some tower systems, you know, some kind of vertical growing. So we're kind of weighing all those options and looking at all those builds so that we can share with you guys how we can maximize kind of diversifying our space, you know, not just solely focusing on microgreens, as profitable and as tasty as they are. We also want to just kind of have some other options available to our customers. So we're looking at how do we get some adult crops in here. All that being said, just wanted to provide an update if anybody was curious about the space or anything like that, and also what we're kind of experiencing as we enter winter. I'm sure a lot of people out there who have been through a few seasons already understand and have kind of prepared for this, but for those who haven't, maybe you'll find some of this information useful, and I hope so. So if you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you dislike it, give us a thumbs down. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the section below, and we'd love to get those answered for you as soon as we can. And if you're interested, our Instagram is @OnTheGrowFarms. Also, if you would like to subscribe for more videos, we do experiments with microgreens. We've actually got on behind Mandy right here, we just started up our soil versus, I'll give you a little sneak peek. We got some coco coir with some, I think this one's broccoli, yep. And then we got some different soils here versus actually hydroponics. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, a bunch of experiments, or maybe learning more about your grow space, or just kind of joining us as we learn this whole process, please subscribe for more like that. Thank you so much, and have a great day.